Hi, it's Aneta here from Aneta I Yoga Studio and Wellness. How are you? Today is Thursday, 26th of April 2018, and I'm just showing up with another coaching session and actually talking a little bit about relaunching of my 3-month coaching package. And over the last 2 years ago, basically, if you don't know me, I ran yoga, Aneta I Yoga studio in Kent, and I been running the studio full-time for the last 2 years, over 2 years. Before that, I worked in social care for 16 years with people experiencing mental health, addiction issues, domestic violence and other child protection issues. So I started working in London, working with drug users, substance users, and then working for 6 years in a crisis detox place for very chaotic drug users in central London. And then when I moved down to Kent, a few years back, I started working with families experiencing those same issues and also experiencing child protection issues. So quite a long journey, and I've been doing coaching and bringing coaching in because that's something that I absolutely love. I've always been really drawn to working with people. So for example, in a crisis center, I took on training and supervising volunteers. It wasn't part of my role, but I absolutely loved it and I developed it. And so that's something that I wanted to do. I managed people, I supervised cases, I trained people. So a lot of stuff, always really focusing on people and always understanding that how somebody is, what's going on for them personally will affect their performance. I've always understood that, and so therefore always worked for my team to be very close together, supportive of each other, and really acknowledging how they are and what's going on for them, so they can really take care of themselves as they're taking care of a lot of people in need. It's like you can't really look after somebody if you cannot take care of yourself properly, or at least it's a real struggle. And so I'm rebranding my 3-month wellness coaching, and I've been doing some work around it over the last few months. And it used to be yoga wellness coaching, and I realized that really my work has shifted significantly. And to reflect that, I rebranded it as mindful and somatic wellness coaching. And mindfulness is an integral part of what I do. My yoga and mindfulness, my yoga teacher training was yoga and mindfulness teacher training that I did 8 years ago. And so mindfulness and that psychology behind being present and aware and bringing that loving kindness is very ingrained. It's always been part of how I teach and how I practice. And so, but lately my work has shifted even more from the classical yoga practice to more of a movement practice and somatic movement. Understanding that the yoga poses are so wonderful when you practice them, but actually for many people, if you're experiencing chronic pain and chronic tension, and if you've got illnesses, or you're very unfit, or you experiencing that chronic tension, it's really, there is a need for slightly different movement. And yes, incorporating classical yoga into it, but actually just really understanding that it might not be enough, that the needs, the somatic, which means somatic from within the body, experience from within the body, requires us a different way of being. And so I'd like to talk to you about the stuff that I bring within those 12 weeks. It is very in-depth program, and it's very much guided by the needs of a client, but also it brings certain outcomes and a lot of different practices. So before I do that, I wanted to show you something, and this is not to brag, but just to make a point, really. So I brought together my folder of all the different courses that I've done. Working in social care means that they send you a lot of courses, so a lot of stuff to do with the family work, with managing conflict, with managing motivation and engagement, family dynamics, diploma in health and social care. So all of those kind of stuff that is here, group dynamics, all of that stuff, CBT and working with aggressive behavior, and how to engage people in a right way, learning about child protection, human rights, all of that kind of stuff, substance misuse, first aid, all of those things that you kind of go through, that there is a little stuff in here. Hello, Bex. How are you? Hope you're well. I'm just talking about working in social care and having this huge folder of certificates, which I'm sure you know as well. And I also have got the other pile of certificates, because I've always gone and done a lot of courses outside of my work. And so stuff like life coaching and my initial diploma in yoga and mindfulness, yoga and mindfulness for treatment of pain, systems thinking, diploma in systems thinking, NLP, all of that kind of stuff, even British Sign Language that I did years ago, a lot of counselling, a lot of, again, risk management, working with suicide, my Insight and Yin Yoga teacher training, all of that kind of stuff that I absolutely loved doing. Beck says, doing well, thanks. I tuned in at the right time. You have, definitely, just as I was talking about our work, because we work together in social care. So interesting. Well done. Good timing. And so the one thing that I learned through all of this is that it actually doesn't matter it matters that you do the courses, it matters that you attend, it matters that you complete them, it matters that you learn about new stuff. But actually what matters more than that is putting it all into practice. It's actually using it on a daily basis. It's actually bringing it into how you relate to people. It's very much about being in tune with yourself and how you're doing the things. So, for example, my yoga and mindfulness meditation training that I did 8 years ago would mean nothing if I didn't practice it. So I see a lot of people talking about mindfulness and what it means and how great it is. But actually, I hear people saying, I have to be mindful. But actually, unless you actually practice mindfulness on a regular basis, it's not going to mean that much, to be honest, because it's just going to stay on that mind level as a good idea. It will not actually have a profound impact on how you are. And raising that awareness and actually having an embodied practice. So the way that I teach today, after 8 years of teaching, and how I interact with people comes from, 8 years of teaching, of having a personal practice, 2 years teaching full time. I often teach more than 20 sessions a week, sometimes 25, of teaching workshops, working with all sorts of different people with different needs, always using coaching skills and bringing all those different things that I learned in the past that I tried for myself. So this is why I brought this big folder, just to show you that actually I could have done all of this, but unless I put it into practice, it would mean nothing. And so my coaching program, 3-month program, comes from bringing it all together and actually knowing what works. seeing it working for quite a long time with different people, trying out different things, really paying attention, not only in the work that I do, but also for myself, trying it out and having that embodied practice. So Beck says, yes, and that's so hard. It's easy to forget all that training when you are faced with a real person in crisis. Exactly. When they come in, and that's why it needs to be so embodied that we know through our own experience of what it means to deal with situations like this. It doesn't have to be on the same level of crisis. It can be just challenging, and knowing that there are certain things that can really help. And so the three outcomes of the coaching that I do are clarity, connection, and vitality. And all of those are leading you, the main outcome at the end is so you have got that somatic grounding within your body, and you connect with that somatic wisdom within your body. And from that space, you take actions and take wise action and the choices that are right for you and for, life around you. So number one, the clarity. What is it about and why is it important? So clarity is so important, because how are you going to make the right decision and the right choice if you're not clear what you want, you're not clear what you need, you're not clear what the options are for you, you're not clear about your life as it is right now, the direction that it's going. So clarity is really important. It's not just the clarity for yourself, it's also the clarity of who you are within the system and the life that you have. Because we don't exist on our own. Yes, it might be great, you're thinking about making all these changes and changing your diet and getting fit and maybe losing weight and being more mindful and all of that kind of stuff. If your environment is in complete chaos, you hate your job, your relationships aren't healthy, you've got no personal boundaries, you can't say no, you can't stand up for yourself in a skillful way. All of those things that are so kind of challenging, and they come from clarity knowing who you are, clarity knowing what you feel about things, clarity knowing about how you look after yourself or how you don't look after yourself, and the consequences of each. So really important part of this coaching. Number two, the connection. The one thing that I often hear is when people come in to work with me is how disconnected they feel from their body, how they're struggling with feeling themselves within the body, how they're not looking after themselves. So it's that connection, the deeper connection, the connection to yourself, the connection in your relationship, in others, the connection to life around you, that embodied experience of feeling really grounded within your body and grounded within your life. And part of it is being integrated, feeling integrated, that your past, your present are integrated, that the future is integrated within that, and that you feel the sense of belonging within yourself, within your life, within the system that you are in. And the last one, the third one, is about vitality. And why is vitality so important? Because it's that when you've got vitality in your life, it's that zest for life, that passion, that really being fully present here and alive within your body, and having energy when you wake up in the morning, not feeling like, oh my God, I actually feel like crawling back into bed and going back to sleep. Sleeping well, being able to move and having little or no pain, being able to move without pain, or being able to manage your energy. Because when I think about vitality, I know I see often the pictures of somebody as a vitality going, yes, and they're really happy peppy, and that might be how you experience vitality, but that's not how I experience vitality. I experience vitality in a more steady way of feeling quite okay within myself, of being able to spot the beauty around me, doing the stuff that I'm passionate about, that I loved, like working with my clients and learning and exploring new things. And if I feel pain, I know that I know how to work with it. So in a sense, that's why training as Thai yoga massage therapist has shifted so much, grounded me so much within my body. And so if I feel the pain, I've got tools and skills to release it, or I know somebody who can release it for me. I have ways of processing it. I can move my body within the needs that it has. So sometimes much more dynamic, sometimes much gentler. Sometimes I know I need to rest because I've been working hard, and I need to rest because my inspiration is low and it's time for rest. And so finding your own rhythm that is right just for you. And yes, there are other commitments like children and parents and partners and home and work and all of that kind of stuff. But how do you find your own rhythm within all of that, within your life as it is? Making the right choices for yourself so it feels like it's a life worth living. And the other thing about the vitality and connection and clarity is that when you do this kind of work, somatic work, you switch off that stress response within your body that is sometimes unnecessarily on high alert. So you regulate that nervous system. So in whatever way that you need to be more grounded, to be more stable, and for your energy to be more consistent. So all of those things, the little changes that you make, the practices that you do with a lot of meditations and practices and videos and personal contact and looking at your posture and movement practices and sorting all of that out that is just right for you. Something that cannot be done in a class, because we all have very different needs. We all have very different bodies, very different needs, very different lifestyles, very different commitments. It's so individual that the best way to work with it is on that one-to-one basis. And so if you are interested in what I'm saying, if you'd like to explore a little bit more, if you'd like to find out a little bit more, reach out to me. And I do 30 minutes free consultation. We can work over Skype, and I've got a couple of clients that I work with over Skype, or we can work at the studio here in Ramsgate. Let me know if you'd like to explore a little bit more, and we can see whether we are suitable to work together. And as I said, this is something that the culmination of my own, something that I feel so passionate about, because this is a culmination at this point of almost 25 years of training and work in social care, my own practices, teaching yoga and mindfulness and exploring and learning and practicing. And as Patanjali says really, really, really well, practice and all is coming. And it's all about somatic experiencing. It's all about embodied practice. It's not about keeping it on the mind level, reading about it and thinking, that's a great idea, but actually then not really doing anything about it. So yes, let me know if you'd like to chat, reach out and we have a chat and we go from there. And if you've got any questions, let me know. And I hope you found it quite useful. I will be seeing you next week for another session of the Mindful and Somatic Wellness Coaching. and it will be a bit more practical session. We will just look a little bit about how you can start your process. But remember that I'm also doing a weekly Wednesday 7:30 Facebook Live mini session of mindful and somatic movement. So you can join me there. And all the sessions are also on the Facebook page, so you can look under the videos and enjoy them wherever you want. Save them, share them if you think they're worth it, if they're valuable, and I wish you a really wonderful day, sunny day where I am. Take care. Namaste.